Dan Maher was the host of the Inland Folk radio show for over 37 years, as well as the Jam with Dan TV show, both on Northwest Public Broadcasting. Dan hails from Pullman, Washington. He's a songwriter, song collector, and a great sing-along leader.
Alrighty, tumbleweed number, whatever they say it is, it's getting up there. And it's in the 25, some say 24, some say, I'll just say 30, and then that'll give them something to live up to, okay? So that means they got to keep it going for another 4 or 5 years. And I'm Dan Maher, and this will be, I've missed maybe 3 of them. And here's an Irish Rovers thing. Goodbye, Mearsham Durkin. Let's do it their way. Goodbye, Mrs. Durkin. I'm sick and tired of working. No more I'll dig the praties. No longer I'll be poor. But as sure as me name is Barney, I'm off to California. Instead of digging praties, I'll be digging lumps of gold. That's your part. Put your hand on your computer and let's sing it like the evangelists do. Okay, here we go. Put your hand on the computer and do it. And it goes like this. So it's goodbye, Mrs. Durkin. I'm sick and tired of working. No more I'll dig the praties. No longer I'll be poor. But as sure as my name is Barney, I'm off to California. Instead of digging praties, I'll be digging lumps of gold. In the days that I was courting, I was never tired resorting to the alehouse and the playhouse and the other house besides. But I told me brother Seamus, I'll be off now and grow famous. And before that I return again, I'll roam the whole world wide. So it's goodbye, Mrs. Durkin. I'm sick and tired of working. No more I'll dig the praties. No longer I'll be poor. But as sure as my name is Barney, I'm up to California. Instead of digging praties, I'll be digging lumps of gold. Well, I've courted girls in Blarney and in Antrim and Killarney, in Dublin and in Kerry, down to the Cove of Cork. But I'm tired of all this pleasure, so now I'll take me leisure. And the next time that you hear from me, I'll write you from New York. So it's goodbye, Mrs. Durkin. I'm sick and tired of working. How more I'll dig the praties. No longer I'll be poor. But as sure as my name is Barney, I'm off to California. Instead of digging praties, I'll be digging lumps of gold. So when I was in the recording studio working on an album with the great Hank Kramer, I decided, I stuck a little verse in there. This is for Hank, wherever he may be. And it goes like this. When I landed in America, I met a singer named Hank. He told me if I'd sing with him, that we would both make bank. But then there came the virus, and then no one would hire us. So I work for REI now, making crummy freeze-dried food. And it's goodbye, Mrs. Durkin. I'm sick and tired of working. No more I'll dig the praties. No longer I'll be poor. But as sure as my name is Barney, I'm off to California. Instead of digging praties, I'll be digging lumps of gold. Well, I'm now in San Francisco, and me fortune it is made. Me pockets loaded down with gold, I'll throw away me spade. I'll go back to dear old Erin, spend me fortune never caring. And I'll marry Queen Victoria, Mrs. Durkin for the spite. So it's goodbye, Mrs. Durkin. I'm sick and tired of working. No more I'll dig the praties. No longer I'll be poor. But as sure as my name is Barney, I'm off to California. Instead of digging praties, I'll be digging lumps of gold. So it's goodbye, Mrs. Durkin. I'm sick and tired of working. No more I'll dig the praties. No longer I'll be fooled. But as sure as my name is Barney, I'm off to California. Instead of digging praties, I'll be digging lumps of gold. Oh, indeed, indeed. Wish I could remember what I did last time. But this might be a repeat. But that's okay. It's a good enough song, it should be repeated. There are a lot of good songs out there. Michael W. Smith died recently. He wrote, let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuider Zee. Long ago I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. The Dutchman's nothing. Wrote that, but he wrote this. This is one of his earlier songs. The great Tom Rush recorded it. Hey, you. The great Tom Rush recorded this song, and I think it's a great song. Starts out, it sounds almost like it's going to be Mr. Bojangles, one of the most oft-used licks in folk music. This here mandolin was carved out of pine, was willed to me by an old hobo way down that line. He donated this mandolin with these last words: before I pass over, boy, I'll show you some chords. This here mandolin is made out of earth and of stone. The sound of that railroad makes you feel all alone. This here mandolin will take a hobo back home. And this here mandolin is so full of sand. She'll sing out a tune when there's a cop on the train. And she'll sing you the rhythm of that super chief going out of St. Paul. That's not all. This here mandolin will make a young girl open up her window like a warm bed on a cold and rainy night, like a hex sign hanging out on a barn. This here mandolin will keep a hobo from harm. This here mandolin was carved out of pine. It was willed to me by an old hobo way down the line, and he donated this mandolin with these last words: before I pass over, boy, I'll show you some chords. This here mandolin is made out of barns and old water tanks. And if the jukebox is busted and you need an old song, this here mandolin will take a hobo back home. This here mandolin. This here mandolin. When the cold wind is a-calling and the sky's clear and bright, misty mountains sing and beckon and lead me out into the light, where dark woods hide their secrets and the mountains are fierce and bold. Deep waters hold reflections of times lost long ago. I will hear their every story, hold fast to my own dreams, and be as strong as the seas are stormy, and as proud as an eagle screams. I will ride, I will fly, chase the wind and touch the sky. I will fly, chase the wind, and touch the sky. When the cold wind is a-calling and the sky is clear and bright, misty mountains sing and beckon, lead me out into the light. I will ride, I will fly, chase the wind and touch the sky. I will fly, chase the wind and touch the sky. Na 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 na. dark woods hide their secrets, and mountains are fierce and bold. Deep waters hold reflections of times lost long ago. I will hear their every story, hold fast to my own dreams. Be as strong as the seas are stormy, and as proud as an eagle screams. I will ride, I will fly, chase the wind and touch the sky. I will fly, chase the wind and touch the sky. Na 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 na. Chase the wind, touch the sky, catch the sky. How am I doing time-wise? Do I care?
You're at 11:03.
Okay, good. We're going to do this real quick. This will bring it up to about 18. And I got to do this. The great Gene Carbop, this is his yard we're using for this video. And I want to thank Gene for being, and his wife Susan for being they've been to me this weekend and picking me up, driving me down here. And Mr. Dave Carson. This was all kind of spur of the moment because I just wasn't sure how I was going to film something, and this visual thing just isn't my bag. And so that's your gig. And I just thought it would be better to have it done more professionally, and so I had to go all the way down. I live in Pullman. Anyway, a long time ago, I hated Bob Dylan songs. Couldn't stand them. I just hated. I hated Dylan. I hated everything about Dylan when I was a kid in school, and up until about 1988. And I had an engineer when I was first doing inland folk, and I had an engineer, and he was dying. He had a stomach cancer, and he called me up 2 days before he died, and he said, "Dan, I want you to sing Forever Young at my funeral." And I said, "What?" And he said, "No, I want you to." And I said, "No, you know I can't stand Dylan. I have to learn that thing. Even for you, I don't know if I want to learn some Dylan." He says, "I know you don't like Dylan." And I said, "But why do you want me to sing?" He says, "Because I know you don't like Dylan." And he was that way with everybody. The minister said, "What kind of verse would you like to have that I can talk about the word and I can talk about you?" And he says, "Jesus wept." That's the verse you get. And and the minister was like, "What?" It's an awesome story. There's a lot more to it than that. But so this reminded me of a song that I learned. A Scottish fellow named Eric Bogle, who now lives in Australia. His most famous song, of course, is the band played Waltzing Matilda and No Man's Land. But he wrote this. It's called The Traditional Folk Singer's Lament for the Traditional Folk Song. The chorus goes like this. Those of you at home on your radio, those of you who want to do this, you're going to have to shout it out, scare your neighbors and everything. You got to go like this. You got to go, "No, no, 1,000 times no. I'd rather see my life's blood spilling. I'll sing anything, even God Save the King, but I just won't sing any Bob Dylan." That's your part. Okay. So, and it goes like this. And thanks, Mr. Carson. Thanks for everybody. At the age of 19, I was young, I was keen, and I had but one burning ambition: to be a folk singer, a dope-smoking swinger singing songs that were steeped in tradition. So I bought a guitar and I practiced real hard, and I wasn't much good, but I was willing. Until my chagrin, when my girlfriend walked in and she said, "Can you sing me some Dylan?" And I said, "No, no, 1,000 times no. I'd rather see my life's blood spilling. I'll sing anything, even God Save the King, but I just won't sing any Bob Dylan." Well, me and my guitar, we travel real far, trying to gain some recognition. And I sang The Wild Rover from Dundee to Dover, in pubs, clubs, and in seamen's missions. Yes, and I traveled the road for 7 long years, and the pace, it really was killing. And everywhere I went, From Chester to Kent, people said, can you sing any Dylan? And I said, no, 1,000 times no. I'd rather see my life's blood spilling. You got it. I'll sing anything, even God Save the King, but I just won't sing any Bob Dylan. Well, I struggled on, friend, but the magic was gone, friends. All I had was this deep sense of failure. So I thought that I'd go to where all failures go, so I boarded a boat for Australia. And when I landed in Sydney, the sun had shone down on a view that was lovely and thrilling. Till spotting my case, with a smile on his face, Custom said, hey mate, can you sing us some Dylan? And I said, no, 1,000 times no, I'd rather see my life's blood spilling. I'll sing anything, even God Save the King, but I just won't sing any Bob Dylan. Well, ever since then, again and again, people ask me that same terrible question. And I always reply in my own quiet way with a totally indecent suggestion. But the last straw came one night in this local hotel where there was this young girl and she was willing. I was looking my best. And she said, I'll say yes. But first, can you sing me some Dylan? And I said, no, 1,000 times no. I'd rather see my life's blood spilling. I'll sing anything, even God Save the King, but I just won't sing any Bob Dylan. Well, I'll tell you, friends, that was the end of all of my traditional aspirations. If purest intent meant forced abstinence, there was just one way to end all my frustrations. So, the next night I sang in this little folky club where the audience, as usual, was millin'. I took off my coat and I ruptured my throat and I sang just like Bob Dylan. Thank you very much. Come gather round, people, wherever you go, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accepted that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is a saver, and it better not swimming off your you think I is on. You think I a stone. A stone. A stone. Everybody must get stoned. They'll stone you when you're driving in your car. They'll stone you when you're playing your guitar. Now I would not be so all alone. Everybody must get stoned. For the times, they are a-changin'. Well, the audience went wild. Men's, women's, and child's. And they clapped till their raw hands were bleeding. And they said, so to speak, that my style was unique. And just what the whole folk scene was needing. So, all you young folkies who bash out a chord, if you want to attain that top billing, just murder good prose and sing through your nose. And then you'll be just like Bob Dylan. Thanks, folks. Thanks for letting me do this tumbleweed thing.